Brilliant. Crack on.
Roberto, first of all, 48 hours removed from the game on Sunday. What is the team news? How's everyone come through that?
Well, as we expected, I think Mo Besic and Kevin Mirallas won't be available for tomorrow. We're going to have a bit more detail probably today. Both players will be reassessed. And apart from that, good news in terms of seeing Seamus Coleman coming on and showing no effects of being injured. I think he looks fully fit, and we're looking forward to see him participating in the squad. James McCarthy should be available. We need to maybe finalise tonight what's the role that he can play tomorrow. And Steven Pienaar came through his role at the weekend with in a very good way, which is very positive, and Tom Cleverley clearly played in the game. So we have very good news in terms of the players coming back and being available. We have to just cope with the two new injuries.
If you wanted to, is Seamus fit enough to start tomorrow?
Yes, he is, yeah.
What of Phil Jagielka? Because obviously he wasn't involved on Sunday.
Well, Phil is a very, very important player for us. As you know, 5 games in 13 days is impossible for us to have certain players that they can play every single minute, and I think is a real opportunity for us to have Phil Jagielka refreshed and fully fit going into tomorrow's game, and that's what we need to make sure that we use the squad wisely and well over the next few games, because as I say, 5 games in 13 days is a real test of the strength that we have in this squad, and I'm really excited about how we can respond towards that.
Joe Robles has obviously started in the cup games for you this season. Will that be the case again tomorrow?
Yes, he will. Yeah.
What more does he have to do to take that role in the Premier League games?
I think Joel has been magnificent this season. He's had a real big role in our success in the League Cup. I think the League Cup has been a terrific competition. We're enjoying every single second, and I think that's the only focus that we have. And Joel has been paramount in that role, and that's what you want every player to show, that mentality of being ready, to show that the team can rely on that individual, and every player needs to have that mentality. We want to be a winning team, which means that whoever is on the pitch needs to perform well enough to help the team to win games, and I think Joel has done that throughout his season.
And to be clear though, Tim Howard is still Everton's number 1.
Well, it's nothing to comment on that. We're preparing for the game tomorrow. It's been a really, really difficult result to take at the weekend. As we all know, the first half we went up to the standard as a team, and the second half we were as good as you're going to see a team controlling the game and dominating and creating chances. We couldn't show that in the scoreline, and that's a concern or an aspect that we have to change. But now all we're doing is looking forward to the game tomorrow and the opportunity of enjoying a second leg in the semi-final of the League Cup. Is a momentous day. We're going to have nearly 8,000 of our fans. We're really looking forward to face a really strong team, as we all know, but I feel it's going to be a terrific game of football, and we want to be enjoying every single second that we have in this competition, as we've done so far.
How pivotal is this game this week, given the FA Cup is on at the weekend as well, in terms of Everton's season now? Because if you were to win both, then you have 2 major cup competitions, a final to look forward to, and everyone goes forward, all guns blazing. If you weren't to win, then it's obviously a different light put on it.
I think when you are end of January and you're involved in 3 competitions, all you have to do is take game by game. We want to be in this situation. We welcome being in a position where we could fight for reaching a final of a major trophy, and that's the only thing that matters. After that game, we'll have to concentrate into the next one, and that's a real strong mentality that you need as a football club. Of course, the disappointments are painful at the moment because the results haven't been fair in order to reflect the efforts and the football that we played, and that's the work. The work is in making sure that the performances giving us positively consistent results, and tomorrow is completely different. Tomorrow is having the opportunity of going to the Etihad, one of the best home records that there are in the land in the league campaign, and we know it's a massive challenge, it's a massive hurdle, but we want to be successful, and we'll give everything we've got to try to reach the final.
Your away record, though, it certainly isn't bad this season. You got a goalless draw at Manchester City less than 2 weeks ago. Does that fill you with more confidence?
Well, the away record is exceptional. It's not just good; it's exceptional. One defeat in all the away games this season is probably one of a very strong record. As you mentioned, we played at the Etihad not long ago, but I think this is a cup game. I don't think you can take into consideration any sort of ruin or the type of performances that we had in the league away from home. Tomorrow is going to be a one-off, and it's one that we have to be prepared. I think mentally is a huge occasion, but it's an occasion that we earned the right to enjoy, and probably we got the big advantage of having our fans behind us. We're going to create a special atmosphere, and we're really looking forward to enjoy our football under those circumstances.
Do you approach it any differently, given you go into the second leg with a goal lead?
No, I think we need to make sure that we play the game to try to win that football game in isolation. I think you can only be thinking at the overall scoreline maybe when you are in the last 5-10 minutes of the game. I don't think you can go into an approach of keeping in mind what happened in the first leg, because it's not big enough margin to be thinking in that manner. So we know, I think both teams know each other really well after the amount of games that we played. In every encounter, you see two teams built in the same manner to try and to get on the ball, to try to score goals, very dynamic, and it's going to be a terrific game of football, I'm sure of that.
Nobody doubts the quality and talent that John Stones has. He did receive criticism over the weekend for perhaps not clearing his lines as quickly as he might. What's your take on the way he's playing at the moment?
My take is the take that I always have with our young players. John is 21. I think he's played 68 games in the Premier League. I would never assess or judge a player until he plays 100 starts in any league. If you play 100 games in League 2, you're a League 2 player. If you play 100 games in the Premier League, then you can be judged in that manner. What I would say is John Stones has got an incredible potential. He's still a young man and is in the right environment to develop that potential into becoming a very, very experienced footballer. So whatever the judgment from the outside, the criticism, we accept it. That's part of the role. But I think John Stones is in the perfect environment to fulfill that potential and become one of the greatest players that England's ever seen.
Have you spoken to him though about where it might be prudent to play football and not to, as a defender?
I think as a player, we speak with every single individual in terms of making sure that every day is a day that you can improve as a footballer in any aspect. And John is the first one to know when he plays well and when he plays badly. He doesn't need people to let him know. Football is a game of errors. Football is a game where you have to learn from those situations. But in the same way, as a footballer, you need to feel the support and the warmth of your football club and your people. And John has that in huge amounts, and probably is a period that he'll benefit once more. He's a young man that has been through a lot, and some of the performances this season, they've been magnificent. Is it a finished article? Clearly not, because he's 21 and he's played only 68 games.
Just finally from me on the transfer front, firstly, is there any replacement for Stephen Naismith lined up?
No, at the moment there's nothing to mention. Obviously the window is still open until the 1st of February, but there's nothing to mention, ins and outs.
Secondly,
to save you the second question.
Thank you. We've spoken throughout this window about the future for McGeady and Gibson. You've made it clear that you'd like them to get football, possibly on loan. Any movements on that front?
No. Again, I answered that question before you asked me. So yeah, no news to mention in that respect until the 1st of February. We'll make sure that if there's anything to mention, we will.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Just as far as Phil Jagielka is concerned, I understand why you left him out because you needed to. But is it possible to say how much that the team missed him and his leadership skills?
Oh well, I think it would be daft to say that you don't miss a player like Phil Jagielka. But obviously you missed a player or any player that is not 100% on the football pitch, and it's unfair to expect a player to be 100% when you have to play 5 games in 13 days. We don't choose the fixture list, we don't choose the amount of games that we want to play. What we can choose is to give players the opportunity to be refreshed. And remember that Phil has been out for a long time, and we had to cope with him without being in the team, and we did that at times really well. But his influence is always there. Phil Jagielka is a real influence in the dressing room, in the day-to-day, and clearly in a match day. But it's important that he's fully refreshed, like any other player when he's on the pitch, should be able to perform at his very, very best.
And we spoke briefly after the game about the sort of the psychology, the mentality of your younger players. So how do you change that? Do you work with psychologists maybe here?
I think that the big aspects, any footballer has physical aspects to be aware of, technical aspects that you want to improve on a daily basis, tactical aspects that you have to learn, and psychologically you need to go through experiences in order to create that resilience and to create the winning mentality that you need as an individual. And clearly we try to cover all those angles on a daily basis, and the younger players more than anyone needs that. But that's nothing different with any other player. And all I feel very, very proud is that we got young players that everyone can see the potential that they have and the enormous talent. And of course, when the things are going well, or when they're scoring goals and they participate in a positive manner, they'll get a lot of attention. In the same way, when results are not going well, they'll have to get used to get that scrutiny as well. But we'll never go away from being a protective football club of our young players. I never ever manage in a blame culture, and the way we manage is in an aspiration manner, and I feel that we can fulfill those potential young players in becoming great players, and they are in the perfect football club to do that.
But are you someone who would use a psychologist within the club?
There are situations that you need that help. Sometimes you need that support, but at the moment I wouldn't say that is needed in this team.
Roberto, you've been obviously to Wembley before, but do you feel should you be successful against Manchester City tomorrow night, it will change the dynamic of your season so far?
I think there are many aspects that you cannot work on. Any winning team develops some momentum, develops some belief, develops some sort of attraction into positive moments. Remember the chance that we missed against Swans in the last kick of the game is difficult to explain. The decision against Chelsea in the last action of the game to go against this when a player is clearly offside. I just feel that that's a bit of a negative momentum that is affecting our results. Probably getting a big achievement, being able to reach something that is quite special could help towards that positive outlook in our game. So clearly that's talking a bit in a holistic manner. I think what we need to do is be as good as we can tomorrow. We know we're facing a terrific team. We won the first leg. All we want to do is make sure that we perform well under the circumstances and see if we can reach an enormous landmark that it will be in our football club in the League Cup.
In the sense then, is it a case of you just go into it and feel you've got everything to gain, because we need to talk about this lack of positivity right now you've got going?
Yeah, no, I don't think we got anything to lose. Everyone would expect Man City to win the football game. Everyone expects Man City to get into the final. I think when you start the season, and that would be the feeling in the outside. I just feel that we've been having terrific memories already in this campaign in the cup, and we know that we are capable of going anywhere in the British game and get a result. We're looking forward to that game. It's going to be a big occasion, and we feel very much supported with our fans with big numbers, and looking forward to that game. But it is a game that we got nothing to lose really.
And I know you said there'd been no update on Aidan and Darren, but because of the Euros and everything else that they're trying to achieve with the squads coming up, is there a sense of urgency to try and help these two out?
Well, no. The conversation is clearly between the players and ourselves as a team. The sense of trying to help the players is the reason why we were looking to doing something. We're aware that they are both players very experienced, and they should be playing more minutes in the first team, and that happens. And sometimes you get out of favour, or you are not participating as much as you want, and that's why in front of such a big summer with the Euros is something that we need to take in consideration. But it goes down to the conversation with the players and what the players ultimately want to do, and that's if it's a possibility that they're happy to take. If not, they'll be professional and they'll be fighting to try to help the team and be available. So that's a very straightforward situation.
Okay.
Best of
Thank
luck
you.
tomorrow.
Thank you. Good luck.
Cheers,
Thank you.
Roberto.